So today I'm going to do something similar that I did in my Rubs video where I take a brawler and use them in different game modes to see which one is best suited for them. In this case I'll be using Tick, who as you can see I've been using quite a lot recently. But make no mistake, this wasn't something that I did in like a week because Tick is probably one of the most frustrating brawlers I've played in a while. And I say probably because I've also been using Barry recently, but that's a story for a different video. Anyways, today we'll be playing a few matches of solo showdown, specifically on this map here, and then after that we'll move on to other game modes that include gem grab, hot zone, and knockout. I'll also be using the same loadout throughout the video, so for my gadget I'll be using last hurrah. The only gear that I'll be using is shield, and for my star power I decided to go with Automa Tick Reload. And with that said, let's first start off with solo showdown. Now I think most people can agree with me when I say that Tick involves the most skill out of all artillery brawlers, and that's mainly because his attack is slower and easier to dodge since you don't know where his mines are going to land. As a result, sometimes it doesn't even matter if you attack from far range because some brawlers can just close the distance and take you out. Now you might consider artillery brawlers to do really good on maps like these, but surprisingly, it could go either way. Despite dealing high damage and having a relatively good offense, they have almost no defense at all. Thankfully, Tick does have one in the form of his last hurrah gadget, but it's a rather precise one to use. You might have seen me use it against Kid, which actually ended up pushing him up against a wall which clearly wasn't far enough to avoid his attack. But it's just something you have to be a bit more aware of, especially with other brawlers who have similar gadgets to it. Anyways, now we'll be moving on to gem grab. So originally I thought that Tick would do really well on gem grab, and for the most part he does, but on a map like this, you're going to have a tougher time. And that's because his super is basically useless. I mean, there's no cover at all, so it's a lot easier to take out. And even if I did have that one gear that gives it like 1,000 more health, it probably wouldn't make a difference. But I think it's perfectly fine because you're going to do a lot more damage from your regular attacks. But I guess you can also use it like a distraction so long as you deploy it close enough. So here's my second match, and as you can see, we're not doing so well, and that's because they have really high damage hitters. Like I said in the beginning, Tick has a slow and really janky attack that's easier to dodge if you're a fast moving brawler. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but like I said, playing Tick on a map like this, don't expect to go on a streak. Alright, now we'll be moving on to Hot Zone. In my opinion, I think Hot Zone is the greatest game mode for Tick. Because if you think about it, the greatest attribute of any artillery brawler is being able to control a large area by means of their attack. Now personally I haven't used Barley or Dynamite on Hot Zone yet, but I could imagine they wouldn't be as effective as Tick. The reason why I say this is because one, his attack does more damage than most artillery brawlers, and second, it's also a lot wider. Therefore it's a lot easier to control the center because most players are afraid of taking damage. Now in this match, the other team also has a Tick who's trying to do the same thing as I am. However, he's not the problem here because I'm doing somewhat of a good job dodging him. It's rather this Fang who just comes out of nowhere and kicks my face. And despite us having the advantage in the beginning, he's going to cause us major problems. I mean, look at this, he uses his super on all three of us like it was nothing. I have to applaud this guy because he was seriously carrying his team. It even got to a point where they were ahead of us for a while and I thought we were going to lose honestly. But through sheer luck and good teammates, we managed to win. And finally, we move on to knockout. So honestly, I didn't have high hopes for this because the other team had a Buzz Lightyear who was chasing me down like Officer Earl from Cloudy with a Chance. But surprisingly, I managed to defeat him and we won. Until we no longer did and we lost. Strangely enough, my second match actually went somewhat similar, but this time with a Kenji. We also ended up winning the first match with no deaths. But I can't say the same for the second because this Leon caught us by surprise. So I think Tick can do somewhat well on knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if you cannot get any kills using him. He almost feels like a controller brawler in that regard, where he navigates the enemy to one side so that your teammates can deal with them easier. Unfortunately, I don't use that strategy here, but check this out. We managed to take out Kenji close up without suffering too much damage. And then this Leon just accepts his death or something, I don't know. Anyways, those were all of the modes that I wanted to check out, and in my opinion, I think Hot Zone is the winner. Now I can't say how effective he would be on every single Hot Zone map, but I would imagine that his gameplay wouldn't change all that much, so long as you're familiar with the map I suppose. Besides that, I want to mention that I won't be posting these types of videos as I have been the past few weeks. I might do them maybe once every week, maybe 2 weeks. But in that case, I'll be posting a lot more YouTube shorts. They actually seem to be doing pretty good on their own, but I'm not sure how they're affecting my channel so far. But in any case, I'll try to maintain the same level of quality as I'm doing right now. But anyways, have a good day.